Good day. My name is Mike Flores, and I'm fortunate to serve as the Chancellor of the Alamo College's district. And this is another episode of A Seat at the Table. These are live streamed episodes that feature special guests and cover a variety of topics that are aligned with the Alamo College's district, our organization, our mission, vision, and values, and in particular, how they align with what we are doing on a daily basis. Throughout these discussions, we encourage you, our viewers, to be able to interact with us by posing questions via social media so that as we go through the segment, we'll be able to engage in a conversation with you and answer those questions in particular. So, we just started June, and May was a monumental month. And I think we have to go through each one of those syllables in the word monumental, right? Because one is we celebrated close to 12,000 students are going to cross the finish line this year. Mm-hmm. And there is nothing better than a degree and certificate in their hand. And then the other part that makes it monumental is that San Antonio College was named the #1 community college within the United States. And I can think of no other accomplishment. Well, I can think of a second one called the Malcolm Baldrige Award. But, exactly right. But I think that as part of that, we wanted to spend time today talking about the Aspen Prize and the #1 distinction earned by our colleagues at San Antonio College, Dr. Vela and his team, faculty, staff, and students, and most importantly, what that means for the Alamo College's district. So thank you for joining us as part of that conversation on the Aspen Prize and the #1 distinction. We were able to catch up with Josh Wyner, who serves as the Vice President of the Aspen Institute, in particular the College Excellence Program. And so we're going to take you to that. Please enjoy.
Well, I want to thank Josh Wyner for being here with us virtually for this interview. And Josh we're all still celebrating down here in San Antonio, the Aspen Prize, and for San Antonio College being recognized for that. And so we wanted to follow up with a conversation, and thank you for being here with us today.
Well, thanks for having me, Mike, and congratulations to you and to every faculty member, staff, student, administrator at San Antonio, and frankly, throughout the Alamo district. The work that you've done is really exceptional, and it shows in student success. So it's a well-deserved recognition. Thank you for all of your hard work.
All right. Well, thank you. And we definitely feel affirmed on our student success journey. I just have a couple of questions, and I think all of us are still celebrating, as I mentioned, but we wanted to understand and to learn a little bit more about this process that occurs for Aspen. So could you talk to us about the College Excellence program, process, and search?
Yeah, absolutely. So we start, Mike, by looking at all 1,000+ community colleges in the country. And we look at the student success data that we can gather nationally. And based on that, we invite 150 only to apply. So just being invited to apply, and I know the majority of the Alamo colleges, nearly all of them were invited to apply this year and showed quite well. We then receive over 100 applications. We get about a 70% response rate every year. And among those 70, we whittle down to 10. And there we're really looking at even more data. We get transfer data from the National Student Clearinghouse. We're getting institutional data that helps us disaggregate even more by race and ethnicity and gender, et cetera. And we select 10 finalists. And then we do site visits for the 10 finalists. While we're doing those site visits to understand deeply what your practices are aligned to student success, we're gathering data from your labor market, from your labor department on how well students do in the labor market. We're gathering more transfer data. We give all of that information to a prize jury that consists of an executive with a major healthcare company and a 4-year college president, the two places that students go. And that jury independently decides who the winner will be, the finalists with distinction rising star.
wanted to ask you in particular about SAC and Alamo College's district. What were some of the best practices that that came through in 2021 and perhaps even in 2019?
Where SAC was winning the prize because it's not just improvement, it's actually exceeding national levels, national averages. You're actually assessing learning outcomes at every level. So the work in the classroom, to compare notes with SAC between faculty members in different courses, who's succeeding, who's not, and to develop improvement plans for faculty, right? This isn't about punishing people for poor performance, although there's accountability and we appreciate that. It's about saying, look, some may be doing better than others. How do we get better? But it's not common to actually look at data by professor and say, let's really come into this with a growth mindset. How can we improve the success and the learning of our students in the classroom? Similarly, you're actually assessing learning from advising. You're assessing what the impact is from your advocacy centers when students get non-academic supports. That notion of really assessing whether you're being effective for the purposes of continuous improvement is really notable.
Student success and performance excellence definitely is our journey, and our board affirms that each and every month and at each and every engagement. So thank you for joining us today.
Thanks so much for having me, Mike, and congratulations once again.
All right, thank you, Josh Wyner of the Aspen Institute for that interview and your comments regarding the Aspen journey and the Alamo College's district, and also specifically related to San Antonio College and the Aspen Prize. I'm also thankful to be joined by Dr. Jean Sprague, who serves as our chair of the Board of Trustees, and also with Dr. Robert Vela, who's president of San Antonio College. And so we're just going to go right into some questions and conversation. And so, Dr. Sprague, in particular, you've served on the board for 27 years, and I know that you've seen the evolution of the Alamo College's district and each one of the 5 colleges. And can you tell us a little bit about the hard work in those 27 years plus?
Yeah, I'm always eager to talk about that. It has been a long, successful journey, and really it began, I don't know exact years, but somewhere around 12 years ago, with our excellent Chancellor leadership. That under Bruce Leslie, started with Dr. Bruce Leslie, and has accelerated in recent years with Dr. Mike Flores. So that's been an important thing for the board, to be able to work with strong leadership who had a vision for the future. One of those visions, which the board thought so much of, is that we made it into board policy so that it could not easily be changed along the road. But though that overall is called something called the Alamo Way. And it had 2 very key elements, a lot of key elements, but 2 that Dr. Vela was directly involved with, and that one being the advisor system, a unique system that's still pretty much unique with our system. The other one was the Pathways program, and Dr. Vela thought so much of the Pathways program that it's an architectural feature in our Welcome Center over on Main Street. So but all this, just as a quick side thing here, I want you all, if you have any possibility of access to YouTube about our celebration for the Aspen Prize, I want you to take a look at Dr. Vela's reaction to being surprised that they had won #1 prize. But the enthusiasm, it shows you the genuine enthusiasm of a president for the success of his college and for the success of the district. Yes. So I love that moment. I think it's genuine. But all of this would not have been possible. Everything was laid down with the vision of the chancellor of the board. But the faculty were a key element in the dramatic success that led to this prize. You know, we quadrupled our number of graduates. I can't put a percentage to it, a tremendous increase in student retention, student success overall, students reaching their associate's degree in 3 years with 65 credits, as opposed to maybe more than 95 in previous years. Just dramatic, and that is due to faculty doing their job and endorsing the Alamo way. And finally, we had great student support. We started a thing a few years ago, having a student trustee on the board, so we could hear what the needs of the students were, what these programs, as far as we could tell, were going great. We needed to see how great it was for them. So that has moved forward greatly, and we have always enjoyed very high quality student support. If you look at the ratings that the national people that poll students as how do they like their college, would they recommend it to others, they're in the 90s, 90%. So yeah, it's been a great journey. It's continuing. We're looking forward to even better things to come. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sprague. And as Dr. Sprague mentioned, it really is a team effort. It's alignment from the board chair with the trustees, working with the student trustee, and throughout the organization. So the board has set policy related to the Alamo Way. How do we organize ourselves? What do we focus on so we can be the best in the nation in student success and performance excellence? And then they charge all of us as practitioners with doing that, Dr. Vela, to be able to work together with our colleagues, faculty and staff, advisors, enrollment coaches, and others to achieve that. So, I think one of the, I was going to say the $1 million question, right? When we look at the prize money, but the $1 million question then is, tell us about reaching that finish line. So what was that process like, yourself and the team working to get there?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Flores, for that. Let me just start off by thanking Dr. Sprague and Dr. Flores for their tremendous support, their leadership, and just their partnership through this process, because we can't do it alone. It's the strength is in the Alamo colleges and what we do for this amazing community. But it's a process, right? There's a reason why you kind of carry this title for 2 years. It is really a 2-year journey. And I remember asking my colleagues really early on when I became president, is, how do we apply for the Aspen Award, right? And they're like, sir, you don't apply. They ask you to be a part of the, so we made the top 150 and started to learn that process and see. So it's really a 2-year journey. You make the top 150. If you get a call to say, we want to talk to you a little bit more about it, that means you're top 50, and then from that 50 they go down to top 10. And luckily for us, that journey came, well, it's good and bad during a pandemic, because there was a lot of things that needed to tell me up front rather than waiting till that last final day. So for us, they sent a team of about 10 Aspen evaluators, and they interviewed 70 faculty, staff, students, community partners, business partners. And basically, that was one of the most rigorous, most intense interview processes we've ever been, all in a remote environment. All I did basically was say, speak from what's in your heart, talk about your journey, talk about what SAC means to you, and let the chips fall where they fall. This is who we are. And then if wherever we land, we'll learn from it and get better. I don't think we went in as confident as we are at SAC. I don't think we went in to win. I know I shared with this Dr. Flores. I said, if we can just land the rising star, that would be a win for us, I remember having that conversation with you, and that's why, Dr. Sprague, I was so beside myself, because it did feel like a dream when the announcement was made that we had won, because I said all this work, the last 7 years, as you mentioned, that journey that we've been on for student excellence and student success had really paid off, not just for SAC, but for the Alamo Colleges District and this amazing community.
Now, I think as mentioned, that alignment, and that's everybody all in, being able to contribute. One of the things that as educators, we often don't celebrate enough, right? We often do not talk about the great things that we do because we just think it's part of our job.
That's right.
But can you tell us about some of the great things that Aspen noted in their application? I know 2 weeks ago we all were watching that computer screen, and going at the countdown, and then as they got to Rising Star, and then they didn't mention SAC, which was great, right?
Right.
And then they got to finalists with distinction, and they eliminated a few others, and SAC was there. So tell us about some of the things that they mentioned about what makes San Antonio College unique.
The three things that they wanted me to focus on specifically, because they felt that this really stood out, was the advising model. We have a very, as you mentioned, Dr. Sprague, this was led also by Dr. Flores and Dr. Silva in collaboration with all the colleges to really put the framework together for the program. But we've been implementing this for several years, and we have seen a lot of successes in a case management approach to advising our students. And it was so timely because going into the pandemic, we were ready. We were ready to support our students, right? So that was one. Second was how we assess student learning outcomes. One of the things that was really key is that they asked us, you mean you assess everything? We assess everything. Every course, every student service, every college service. We try to make every opportunity when we engage with a student a relational, transformational opportunity rather than just transactional. That was noted as a highlight. And lastly was our work around equity, our very key focus on addressing those equity gaps within the metrics, and really looking at it from a faculty perspective and a advisor perspective. Where are we falling short to ensure that all students rise to the top? And I think those three things I spent about an hour and a half talking about, and didn't see a lot in the video, but I know it's there that truly captured the essence of what I think what we call the secret sauce. But I think I want to wrap that up by saying it's an educator heart, is what you mentioned, Dr. Flores. It's what is the difference between all the other colleges? When you have an educator heart, it's no longer a job. It's a mission. We are all on a mission because we believe in this community. And I think, we don't want to be the best kept secret in town anymore. We want to share it with the world that this is an amazing district serving an amazing city.
Now, I think as you mentioned that, Dr. Vela, one of the things is in particular the advising model in Alamo Advise, but San Antonio College, SAC has done something very unique in embedding those advisors within the programs.
Yes.
That distinct value proposition, and then the diversity, equity, and inclusion work, and that journey that you've been on for several years. Dr. Sprague, you've been on the board for 27 years. You've been board chair. We're fortunate that you're board chair again with us. And so what is your thought as you look at where we were and where we are now, and then what does it look like going forward?
Yeah, I
A really short question, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, I'll quote from my book that I'm writing on that one. I think the essence of that is one thing that Dr. Vela alluded to was we've looked at the numbers as we went along, and that's an easy way of saying we not only set out the path. I mean, we collectively, students, faculty, and administration, and board, but we did the daring thing of look and see how successful those things were along the way. We must have, I don't know, 56 parameters that we look at as guidelines to see whether the things that we set in motion are actually working. So that's really a big key, and it's a key to the past, and it's a key to the future, because the board's getting ready to issue another set of charges that we do to the chancellor every year, and in that will be some of those milestones and guideposts for becoming even better. Because we've got a long ways to go. Mm-hmm. Everybody has a long way to go in this business. We've had a great number of graduations, one of the best, but we could go on to double that with no problem at all, with the need that there is in Bexar County and surrounding counties. So, and the quality, we can always find ways to teach a course better, to have fewer courses that are what we call challenge courses. Mm-hmm. So, the progress has been great. We've been awarded for it, and the vision for the future is very, very bright.
All right. Well, I can think of no better way to end than with those comments from Dr. Sprague and Dr. Vela telling us about the trajectory. I know that one of the things is you all are going to celebrate, and so we look forward to you all celebrating with your team and everybody that's been involved in this team effort to get to be #1 in the nation as for San Antonio College for the Armadillos. Yes. So we're proud of that. And then also to continue to be best in class, best in the nation in student success. Absolutely. And performance excellence. So we know that 15 months here for us within the Alamo Colleges district, but we're fortunate that we have each other collectively to support each one of our 65,000 students. And we celebrated those 5 graduations, and then we also celebrated this big win for San Antonio College. Thank you, each and every one of you, for joining us, and thank you for all of the wonderful comments that you have posted congratulating Dr. Vela, his team, Chairman Sprague, congratulating everyone as part of the alignment and the work that's been done for the Alamo Colleges District family. And we encourage you to stay tuned for a seat at the table as part of Texas Public Radio, Take 2 with TPR, and Camille Phillips, our education reporter and colleague. Thank you.
Good afternoon and welcome to Take Two with TPR in partnership with the Alamo Colleges District. I'm Camille Phillips, the education reporter for Texas Public Radio here in San Antonio. And Take Two with TPR follows a seat at the table episodes. We kind of dig a little deeper into whatever the topic of the day may be. And today the topic is the Aspen Prize, which San Antonio College won. It's a big award. It basically says that they're best in the nation for student outcomes, student performance. It's community college excellence, I think is the official term, right, Dr. Flores?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm here with Chancellor for the Community College District, Dr. Mike Flores, and we have San Antonio College student, Asia Leja. Yes. Got to make sure I pronounce names correctly. And Asia, you are a business student at SAC, is that right?
I am, yeah.
And you're also this year's upcoming student trustee for the Community College District. So you're
Correct.
basically the student voice on the district board.
Yes.
Okay, there we go. So
It's a mouthful. I
it
know.
is. But I wanted to hear, first of all, just what your reaction was to hearing that San Antonio College won the Aspen Prize.
Yeah, absolutely. I am SAC proud every day of the year, all year round, but extra proud when I found out, when I got to watch Dr. Vela, and I know we're going to say it time and time again, his reaction, his genuine reaction and pride, it just like sank into the students. I know I felt it. I know everybody else felt it. So definitely just pride.
Sense. Yeah, and I remember you said that it kind of pushes back against, sometimes you felt like there's a stigma against community college.
Yeah, I think there is. And I think that's like a natural stigma that we get. Like a lot of people say like, oh, well, I just go to San Antonio College, not UTSA or any of the other universities. I think there's a stigma in our culture right now, but I really think this pushes back against that. This says we are number one in the nation. We are being nationally recognized for the amazing work that the staff is doing, that the students are enabling the staff to do. Absolutely, yeah, I think it pushes against that stigma, and I think it's really important for pride and for student success.
So it's be like, I chose to go to SAC as opposed to it was
Right.
my
Exactly.
backup.
It's affordable, which is an amazing reason to go to SAC, but also we should be proud and prideful of like our staff and all the things we're doing.
Sounds good. Well, I want to ask you more, but first, Dr. Flores, I wondered, since this prize was about student outcomes with a focus on equity, is there like a particular like stat that you are particularly proud of about San Antonio College that the Aspen Prize recognized?
Yeah, I think as Asia mentioned, Camille, the most important thing is the Aspen Institute is looking at student outcomes. So they are, in a sense, saying that students at this community college, at San Antonio College, are successful. A majority of students graduate and transfer, that enroll at SAC, graduate and transfer to a university, right? All of the other outcomes that they're looking at, in a sense, are saying that Asia and her peers are best in class. So it's not only the institution, it is the 18,000 plus students at San Antonio College that may arrive at different points, but they are exiting as successful and actually more successful than students at the other 1,100 community colleges. So I think that that is what's particularly significant. And then the other part, if we look at all 5 of the colleges within the district, is that a majority of our colleges, both this time and in 2019, were in the top 10%, meaning that they are also best in class, and that our 65,000 students perform and outperform the millions, tens of millions of students within the United States. So that's a point of pride of San Antonio College being number one, but that's a point of pride for Alamo College's district being best in class. And I think that that is significant, that it's a high quality undergraduate experience and it's low cost.
Sounds good. Asia, I wanted to ask one thing that that Dr. Vela was pointing out during the first segment here was about the advising model. Can you just talk about your experience with your advisor?
Yeah, so I have a pretty close relationship with my advisor. I think there's a lot of things, and I think this really speaks to the community colleges and specifically SAC, is that we are always trying to improve. Like even in the first segment when they were saying, we're amazing, let's celebrate, but we'll celebrate for a hot second, and then we're going to immediately find ways to improve and keep getting better and strive to be number one for longer. But specifically, my experience, I really do like my advisor. Sometimes it is hard to get a hold of advisors, but I think that's natural in every single college experience. But I mean, the pride that I think she has in us, it really does speak wonders. She knows my story specifically. She knows what I want out of my education. She knows what I can handle. If she notices I'm taking a little too many classes, she's like, hey, what's going on? Are we okay? Because I'm a non-traditional student. Yeah, the pride that they have, I think it's really something, and it speaks to why we won the prize for sure.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
I was going to ask. There is. Do I have more time left? I wanted to ask about specifically the award money. I think it's actually $600,000 that will go to San Antonio College.
Right.
If I had Dr. Vela, I would ask him. But like, do you know, have any plans exactly how that money will be spent, what direction it'll go? And if you don't, then I ask Asia what ideas she has.
Sure. So my thought would be, that Dr. Vela, one is it's wonderful to get prize money, right? To be able to have that. So I know he's working with his team and soliciting input from stakeholders like Asia and others, right? To be able to determine how to spend that and to be able to resource those things that SAC was noted for, right? As part of that effort.
Sounds good. You have any ideas?
And I know we'll keep talking. We have some ideas in all of the board meetings, and I'm so lucky to have a seat to be able to talk for the students on behalf of that. But I'll get some input by the students, and I'll let everybody know.
Sounds good. I want to say, so the specific stat that I remember from the Aspen announcement was that you've increased the graduation or transfer rate, the 3-year graduation or transfer rate by 20 points, like percentage points in the last 5 years or so. So
Right.
that's a pretty dramatic increase. I forgot where I was going with that. But basically that's one of the main points that they were
Yes.
talking about. But a lot of it's also just about equity. It's not just like your overall graduation rate. It's like, are you helping your non-traditional students? Are you helping your students of color? That kind of thing. Is there a particular area that you think that you have made strides on, and perhaps an area that you're still trying to improve district-wide?
So I think one of the things that, San Antonio College was lauded for is being able to ensure moving the needle from, a fifth or a quarter of students graduating and transferring to now over 50%, a majority of students graduating and transferring within, a handful of years, right? Within 5 years, being able to make that transformation. The other thing, and maybe it's we just take it for granted, or it's just part of what we do on a daily basis. SAC is a big urban community college with 18,000 plus students. So to make institutional change and transformation, say in a college of 3,000 or 5,000, that's a little challenging, right? But to be able to move that forward with a comprehensive community college of 18,000 plus, that is transformational. And so I think that is something that is particularly important. Asia mentioned being a non-traditional student. So if you look at the mix of students who are coming to San Antonio College or any of the Alamo colleges, they're reflective of the community that we serve. And students are as successful at any one of the 5 colleges. What we see is an excellent mix of what Dr. Vela and his team have built, working with faculty and staff, and what Asia and other students have contributed to and benefited from, right? Which is just all of those strategic efforts, connecting with an academic advisor, making sure your advisor and you are having conversations about being on path, right? Looking at what institute that you're in, what university you'd like to transfer to, what would you like to do with the credential that you earn, just taking the classes that you need to be able to save time and money as part of that effort. And then one of the other things which San Antonio College was a beta test for is the Student Advocacy Center, right? Which is just a building or two over, and providing those wraparound support services for out of classroom needs, for emergency grant aid or food assistance, clothes closet. So all of those things. So for Asia, for Dr. Vela, for faculty and staff here at SAC and throughout Alamo, to be able to relish, right? More than the 2 minutes, but we got to celebrate, to relish this success, which is not easy to come by and achieve. I think that is what is so critical because, as mentioned earlier, it is not only for SAC, but it's a victory for all of Alamo, and it's a victory for our community.
What, I guess, where does this go from here? What do you think that this award will do for the district and will mean for San Antonio?
I would just say, you know, the best is yet to come, right? We were fortunate in 2018 as part of the journey that Board Chair Dr. Sprague mentioned, right, that it has been a long journey. We celebrated as a district achieving the Malcolm Baldrige Award 2019, 4 of the colleges being in the top 10%, and Palo Alto making it to Rising Star, and then going even further than that in 2021, and a majority of our colleges making it into the top 10, and San Antonio College bringing home, right, the Oscar, the Super Bowl ring, all of that wrapped, the gold medal, since we're getting ready for the Olympics, all of that wrapped in together to show to our community and to what is going on here is really special. And we're not going to rest on that. We're going to continue to move forward. So the best is yet to come.
Makes sense. Got to go, but I did want to ask one last word from you, Asia. What do you think this means for you and your peers, your fellow students?
I think it means a lot of things, especially for the community. I think that's always our goal because San Antonio is a proud community-driven area of Texas for sure. So I think it means pride, and I think it means excitement for getting back into school, getting back into classes, and getting to know our staff and celebrate a little bit with everybody. I think it means a lot.
Sounds good. Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much both for your time. You've been listening to Take Two with TPR, a partnership with the Alamo Colleges District. I'm Camille Phillips, here with Asia Leha and Dr. Mike Flores.